Hello everybody, welcome to this video. Welcome to the shack, the 28th weekend since the start of lockdown in the UK. Unbelievable really, isn't it? The weather is terrible. It's been raining all day today and it was raining all day yesterday, and I've just been looking on the BBC Weather actually app, and for my QTH in West Oxfordshire, it is going to rain continually now until 1900 hours on Sunday. So basically it's raining all weekend. So, which is a bit of a nightmare. Funnily enough, actually, yesterday afternoon, the rain did stop. It didn't rain all day yesterday. It stopped. I actually sat out. I'm working from home, obviously, and I did sit outside for an hour, 3/4 of an hour, with my computer, because when the sun came out briefly and it was really warm, you know, for the 1st of October. You know, perfectly warm enough to sit out there in shorts. So, but then anyway, the clouds basically returned within about 45 minutes, and it started raining again. So, and that's the way it's been ever since. So anyway, you know, more of a reason really to stay indoors in the warmth of the shack and do some radio stuff. So this weekend, I've downloaded some software, Mac Doppler. And this weekend, I'm going to try and make it work, basically. So this was recommended to me by a couple of my radio buddies, M0KEP, Tim and Jeff, M0UHF. And they're both sort of keen satellite users, effectively, for want of a better phrase. And this past week, I've been trying to record ham radio activity from the repeater on the ISS, and Jeff has actually been trying to access the repeater and work other stations via the ISS on 70 SEMS. So we set this up. He set his station up, and I set up one of my SDRs, the RSP. Well, I started with the RSP Duo, and then I went over to the RSP DX, and I just basically thought it was easier because obviously you have to cope with changing frequency because of Doppler shift, because the ISS is, you know, orbiting, moving at 17,000 miles an hour or whatever it is, and I just figured that being able to see the signal would make it easier, obviously, then to compensate for the Doppler shift change in frequency. So I used the RSP Duo and was monitoring the sort of downlink frequency on 2 meters and on 70 SEMS, because, you know, you can do that with the RSP Duo because it's got 2 receivers. I had my X300 connected to the 70 SEMS, and my Maplin wideband antenna goes out to about 1.5 gigahertz. The thing I got for free basically when Maplin closed down. Anyway, couldn't hear anything at all. Nothing at all, which was a bit frustrating, and Jeff wasn't able to work anybody on the ISS either. So we then had another go a couple of days later, and that time I used my Yaesu FT991, and actually on the repeater on 70 SEMS did copy some ham radio activity, but it was kind of brief, about, I don't know, 20 or 30 seconds. I did record it, but it just wasn't long enough to make it worthwhile to upload, so I didn't bother. And then in the meantime, Tim recommended Mac Doppler. He's a Mac user, as I am, but not for work. Jeff installed it last night, and so I installed it last night, but not until I had to actually update the operating system on my Mac, because I hadn't bothered to update it. I think I was still on Big Sur, so I had to update it to Catalina, which I did last night, which was 8 gig. But that was done, and then I downloaded the beta version. I think it's the beta version of Mac Doppler. I haven't registered it yet because I'm not going to do that until I get it working. But it's version 2.36B11, and I downloaded the Silicon Labs drivers, the USB to UART, and they're in there. And so all the drivers are there, but for some reason there's something wrong with the COM port, because the computer isn't taking cat control of the radio at all. So that is a problem I've got to fix. Once I've got this fixed, then what this piece of software does is it takes control of the receiver and automatically, by inputting some information into this software, it will automatically adjust the frequency on the receiver as the ISS pass progresses, which is perfect because, basically, that just then makes life a lot easier, and it means that I don't have to use an SDR. I can use my FT991, and then I can make a recording of any ham activity, and the software will keep me on frequency basically. So that's all good, and it's just a shame that I can't get it to work, but I did speak to Jeff this morning, and he said that he knows why. It's a COM port, which okay, fair enough, and he's gonna help me sort it out. So interesting actually, because this is the sort of issue that you get when you're trying to connect, your my Yaesu to my Windows computer to run, RSJTX, FT8, etc. But for some reason on the Mac, I mean, I've had a Mac for years. I've used them for years, for more than 10 years. But I know because I've been using PCs 20 years before that. Probably I know way more about PCs when it comes to fixing problems than Mac. So I'm hoping that Jeff or Tim between them can help sort me out. So anyway, so that'll be interesting. So it is interesting actually to hear stations that are being worked via the repeater on the ISS, and hopefully this will we can get it sorted, and I'll be able to do some videos on that. So that's one thing I'm going to be doing today, and something's just come through the letterbox. The other thing I'm doing is I'm kind of researching portable ATUs. I've got obviously my FT817 now, and I'll come on to that in a minute. But of course it is possible to take one of my larger ATUs. I've got MFJ 948 and a 949E. They're quite large units though, and not ideal for putting in a backpack. And MFJ do this little sort of portable one, the 902B, 80 to 6 meters, and as you can see, it's much smaller. And Radio World appear to have one. Doesn't actually say it's out of stock. And it's 122 quid basically. It's interesting actually, because I had a look on Martin Lynch, and they seem to have one, but it wasn't clear whether they actually had one in stock, because there was a little button there to say click this for a pre-order, so I don't know what that means. But somehow I've got to find two things. I've got to find a smaller ATU, and not ideal to have to spend 120 quid on one, because I've already got two of these things, but otherwise going portable is going to be just a bit of a pain. I need to buy a little amplifier, linear amplifier for the 817. I don't know whether it's going to be 40 watts or 80 watts, but they're on eBay and they're pretty cheap. And then I've got to think about an antenna, a portable antenna. So it's all cost. But I think it'd be worth it, because I don't think anyone's going to. Well, I'm certainly not going to be going on any foreign holidays for quite a long time. Not for the foreseeable future. Holidays in the UK might be viable, I suppose, but it really depends on what happens with COVID. It'd be nice to think that could go on holiday next year, but I don't know. I'm looking at the way things are going. It just looks unlikely. Somewhere in the UK is much more likely, and that's actually easier if you want to take some ham radio gear with you. I mean, normally when I travel, I would take RX gear. Been doing that for years, as you guys know. But it would be nice to take some ham radio gear and set up somewhere different. Maybe try and call into the one of the Harwell skeds on a Wednesday or Friday evening. So well, in the end, it just all boils down to cost, because, as I said, it's 120 quid for an ATU. It's going to cost however much for an amplifier and then an antenna. But then once you've got the kit, what I don't want to be doing is borrowing kit from the shack. That just becomes a pain. I've done that in the past, but I don't really want to do that. I just want to be able to have a dedicated kind of portable kit for the 817. Even though I use the 817 in the shack, all the kit that I associated with it that I want to take with me, I want to do that with dedicated equipment in a flight case. One other thing, Best Battery Biz, I mentioned them because I was having a nightmare. They actually came good in the end. I sent them a very sort of pointed email and just sort of telling them that, you know, that the 10 days shipping time had come and gone, and another 10 days had passed by. So, you know, basically it was approaching 2 weeks late. And eventually, you know, a polite but very kind of pointed email, and they did reply actually and said that we've lost your order, so we're going to send you another one, and here's a Hermes tracking number. So I clicked the link, and it was real. So and this arrived. So this is my second spare, well, my spare nickel metal hydride rechargeable battery for the 817. Now, the original one, so what happened was when I placed this order and it was so late, I ended up buying another one, an identical unit actually, from eBay, which literally arrived in 2 days, which is now inside the radio and works. So this is basically a spare, which is great. And so Best Battery Biz, even though I had a bit of a nightmare with them, I sort of can recommend them now because they did actually come good in the end, and supply a battery, and they were sort of sorry, etc. So, you know, it does seem that they do sort of look after their customers in the end, although it was a bit of a pain. So, but you know, these things happen. What else in the shack? So there's my ICR 75, currently tuned to 153 kilohertz. Can you hear that? Actually got a daylight signal from radio antenna Satelor in Brasov, Romania. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit more DXing on HF recently. I'm partially inspired by the new Colombian station on 4940 kilohertz, which I've not been able to receive actually. I've got a signal on there, a carrier, but I've not been able to copy any audio at all. Others have, so I'm just hoping that propagation conditions are going to change in my favour and I'll be able to hear that station. What's interesting is a station in Spain did copy a very weak signal from that Colombian station, and I need to look, but I think probably in Spain, well, are they a bit closer than I'm just looking on one of my azimuthal maps centered around my QTH, and I'm just looking at Colombia, where I am now, and looking where Spain is, and there's not much in it. But anyway, someone in Spain did hear them. I can't remember what antenna they were using, but someone in Spain did hear this Colombian station. So I'm going to have another go at that and see if I can copy them. That would be great. In the meantime, Radio Tama in Peru on 477.505 actually kilohertz, and Radio Club de Para, Radio Difusora Roraima, those kind of 3 tropical band stations have been really strong on and off for the past few weeks now. I mean, Radio Club de Para literally some evenings is booming in, and Tama, which for a long time was really difficult to copy, has been booming in. I don't know whether, I mean, I'm not up to date on all the sort of local information, whether they've had any work done with their transmitter or not, but the signal from Tama some evenings is very strong, and I think some of you will have heard the copy I got on even on the FT817. Now I know most of that's about the Wellbrook, but at the end of the day you still need a half decent receiver and to hear a sort of weak signal. But yeah, Tama literally booming in, which is good, which is very good. So I'm going to be doing some more DXing on shortwave, and I meant to record the presidential debate. Actually, I meant to find a US station on medium wave and record some of the presidential debate that occurred a couple of days ago between Trump and Biden. I came across that 4 years ago accidentally when I was out with a 200-meter beverage recording the medium wave band as an experiment, and there was a debate going on being sort of broadcast live, but obviously that one was between Trump and Hillary Clinton, and it was interesting, you tuning through the medium wave band when I was analysing the spectrum afterwards, and listening to the same debate, you know, on many AM stations in the United States. So I did try to do, I meant to do the same thing from here, but I was sort of sat in my shack, and it was like, I think the debate was starting about 2 a.m. local time here, 2:30 a.m. and I was sat in my shack and kind of passed out at 1 o'clock, just really tired, and then kind of woke up and went to bed and had forgotten all about it. So I didn't do it, but there's going to be some more. The other thing that I've been enjoying actually is I've been working on 80 meters a bit more. I made several, 8 or 9 contacts yesterday on 80, just by sort of listening and then calling in, just asking for a signal report. And I've worked several stations in Wales actually on 80 meters, and I always used to associate 80 meters with as a band where people would have a chat late at night. But it's actually, when conditions are good, it's actually active all day long, and it's good because I think that's Royal Signals net. I could be wrong. But I've heard the Royal Signals net today and yesterday actually. So made quite a few contacts in the last couple of days on 80 meters. GW4 X-ray uniform Echo. GW0 Echo Whiskey Delta, G40 Bravo, various. Another one this morning actually, GW0 Golf Echo India. So it's I'm quite enjoying 80 meters at the moment. I've been using my sort of G5RV and my end-fed wire, and the end-fed still operating, producing better results than the G5RV. But I'm going to this weekend I'm going to carry on in the morning. I think tomorrow morning, maybe Sunday morning, I'm going to have another go on 80 meters. You can meet a lot of nice people. I contacted a guy on a net that was being run by a group in Wales, and this guy got talking to him, obviously didn't know him, and he used to cycle from Headington to a village called Stanton Harcourt, where I lived about 20 years ago, and the close that I lived in was literally off a road that he used to cycle to go and visit an old amateur back in the 70s, and literally, you know, and so it's just an amazing coincidence that this guy that I've never met, that I just so happened to talk to because he was participating in a ham radio net in Wales, actually was familiar with the street or that I used to live off. Literally unbelievable. Really nice guy. Met some really nice guys yesterday, Welsh operators, and they were very welcoming. They have a net every day actually, from about 10 to 9 to 9:30 on 3.743, and they were very welcoming when I called in towards the end and asked for signal reports, and just said, you know, you'll be welcome to join us anytime. So that is typical of people in this hobby, just really almost universally really nice people. So I appreciated that a lot. And then finally, I'm still obviously studying, and it's slow going because I'm so busy at work, so I only really get to do this in the evenings. But what I've done is I've read the full license once and highlighted all the sections of interest. What I'm now doing is writing notes for the examinable sections, of which there is a lot. So I've literally filled almost an entire A4 graph pad of notes. I've nearly come to the end of it, so that just goes to show. And I'm on page 60, and there's 100 pages. So this is, you know, and this is just the stuff that's examinable. So it is hard. When I say it's hard, it is hard going. It's just a lot of work. Now, some things happened. There's been a change now, so it's now possible to book an exam, which I will do, but I don't want to, because it's difficult to kind of gauge exactly when I'll have finished writing all my notes, and then I'll be in like a sort of revision phase. It's difficult to know exactly when to book the exam. So what I'm going to do is finish my notes and then book an exam, because I could just book the exam and try and do it as quickly as possible, but I don't really want to fail. I haven't failed an exam since 1986. I didn't fail a single exam at uni, and I don't really want to start now. So although I think there'll be a reasonable chance of passing it, I want to actually take the exam when I absolutely sort of confident that I'll pass, or pretty confident. So there you go. The section I've actually reached is the receiver, section 9, and I'm sort of part way through that, really. So still a lot to learn and quite a lot to remember, but sort of getting there slowly. And obviously, you know, it's very important to me to get my full license eventually. I mean, you know, Jeff's nice actually. Jeff always says, well, you know, don't put yourself under any pressure. You know, you know, you've still got 2 call signs you can use, you know, and, you know, so just take your time. And he's right, really, but there's no doubt that it would be great to get that license and get it under my belt, and then it's all done basically, and then it can sort of relax a bit. But you know, I'll stick at it. You know, I won't give up until I passed it, for sure. That's just the sort of way that I am, really. I love a challenge. So there you go. That's it for another weekend. Absolutely peeing it down still, but there you go. I guess we can expect this now for the next sort of 6 months. It's the wind that I really can't stand anymore, because that obviously affects my Heath Robinson antenna setup, but you know, thus far they've kind of survived. So you know, and I hope it does stop raining at some point. But as I said, according to the BBC, it's not going to stop until 7 o'clock Sunday night, which is not good, not good at all. Okay, well, everybody, thanks for watching. As always, you know, wish you all the best. Keep safe, and listen to the radio. Hope you get time to tinker around in your various Radio Shacks, and no doubt I'll speak to some of you via the comments on Oxford Shortwave Vlog YouTube channel. Okay, have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching. 7-3.